Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Passive Income Lifestyle Series. I'm your host, Travis Watts, the Director of Investor Development here at Ashcroft Capital. In today's episode, what we're talking about is the FIRE movement in real estate and what you need to know. Disclaimers as always, never financial advice, never going to tell you or anyone what to do with your money, so please seek licensed financial advice when it comes to your own investing. Now, today's topic, the FIRE movement, is debatably one of my favorite topics to talk about, and it's been quite a while since I've brought it up here on the channel, so I want to take a bit of a deeper dive. For those not familiar, FIRE is an acronym. It stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. And this really gained a lot of popularity after the Great Recession. And it really entails folks who are stock focused for the most part. They're subscribing to this idea of dollar cost averaging into low cost index funds while maintaining a very high savings rate from their job or career. And then after 10, 20 years or something like that, they can then retire off of their investment portfolio. So at its core, it's a stock strategy, but in today's episode, I want to introduce the idea of if real estate could be an investment vehicle to accomplish a very similar outcome. I will share the strategy with you and a couple practical examples to help paint the picture. So let's get started with what the FIRE movement is as it pertains to stocks. So the goal is you start out working, right? You have a job, you're self-employed, whatever it is. And this is how a lot of us start anyway, right? We exchange our time for money in the beginning. Some people for life, but as an investor, hopefully the goal is to eventually have some investment income over time. Second is maintaining a very aggressive savings rate goal. So if you listen to just common media, financial, general advice, it's usually save 5%, 10%, maybe even 15% of your income. FIRE movement advocates subscribe to 50% plus when applicable for, again, about a 10, 20 year time frame. So not for life, but definitely for a meaningful amount of time. So obviously it helps to have a high paying job in this scenario, but there's also a huge emphasis on frugality and how to cut costs. So eventually, after doing this for many years, one may find themselves with a sizable investment portfolio. For simple math, let's just call it $1 million. Now, the next step is the withdrawal rate. And so this is when you're ready to really step into FIRE and leave your employment behind. The methodology is that you withdraw 4% every year on your portfolio to live on. So $1 million would be $40,000 a year. $2 million portfolio would be $80,000 per year. And the idea here is that the stock market historically over time has resulted in an average of about 8, 9, 10% a year annualized returns. So the point is, you're leaving a margin of safety in there by only withdrawing 4%, because we know there's other factors like inflation, there's volatility, and it just leaves you a little bit of a cushion. Now, with all of that in mind, let's take a look at the same strategy, but let's plug in real estate as the primary investment vehicle. Because I've been a longtime advocate for the FIRE movement in general, but I've made two different tweaks that have made a massive difference in my own life. The first is using real estate as the investment vehicle. Number two is using passive income or cash flow as what I use to withdraw from. Now, one reason I've always been attracted to real estate as long as I can remember is because of the passive income component. That's a very common strategy among real estate investors. But unlike stocks, private real estate is mostly considered to be illiquid, meaning I can't just sell off 4% of my real estate every year. So the approach that I've taken is to live on the cash flow yield, and then any potential equity upside in the deals, meaning if I bought a deal down here at this price and sold it up here at this price, that's my equity upside, or investing in a syndication where you do, value add business plan like we do here at Ashcroft Capital. All that equity and long-term gains and stuff like that is used to offset inflation, taxes, and miscellaneous costs. So I've been using this strategy since 2015 when I had a mindset change from being an equity focused investor to a cash flow focused investor. And in my own portfolio, it's averaged approximately 8% annualized on a yield basis, not including equity upside. So a couple considerations right off the bat. First of all, 8% is in fact twice as much as 4%, right? So that's a meaningful difference. If you look at $1 million portfolio, we're talking about $80,000 a year. If you're looking at a $2 million portfolio, we're talking about $160,000 per year as compared to using the 4% rule. Secondly, real estate can offer some great tax advantages. I'm not going to get into that here on the episode. That's for a conversation between you and your tax professional. But especially when it comes to passive income and cash flow and how that's treated in the eyes of the IRS, something to keep in mind. And while there's a lot of great things to be said about low-cost index funds, as for the simplicity of it, investing in really one asset for the rest of your life, setting it up on autopilot so that it's set and forget, I've taken many years to continuously evaluate the risk reward profile. And for me personally, real estate just is a better match for my goals and objectives and my personal risk tolerance. Now, I don't share all of this with you to suggest this is what you should do or that you should put everything into real estate or that you shouldn't hold stocks. I'm just simply articulating a strategy that I've used in hopes that maybe it could help you or somebody that you know. At least something to consider how passive income could change your investment outcome. Now, investing in real estate, whether you're doing it actively with, single family homes or small multifamily or whatever, or you're investing in syndications like I do and like we do here at Ashcroft Capital, there is some active involvement, right? You have to vet deals, you have to sign paperwork, and when deals sell, you have to decide what to do with the money. Do you 1031? Do you cash out? So there is an active component here. The way I look at that is if I'm going to put my own time, energy, and effort into an investment, I should be compensated for that time. Otherwise, why am I working for free? So I first had this epiphany years ago when I was flipping houses and doing a lot of work. It was taking a ton of my time. This is when I discovered real estate private placements, as we do here at Ashcroft Capital. And I realized I could get a very similar risk, reward, and return profile by being a hands-off investor. And that was a huge game changer. So here's a quick hypothetical example to consider. So we'll take Bob as an example. And Bob has $100,000 cash to start investing. Bob works at an active job. He makes $125,000 per year. So let's just call that $100,000 after taxes. And he maintains a 50% savings rate for a 10-year period. So what that means is every year, by the end of the year, Bob has $50,000 in cash to allocate or invest towards his portfolio and goals. So if we zoom out to a 10-year period and we encapsulate that $100,000 that he's starting with, his portfolio would be worth about $600,000 in 10 years, not including investment returns. That's just solely hoarding cash and saving it. So if we do factor in the returns, we'll call it 8% a year, just for example purposes, his portfolio would be valued very close to $1 million. Now, at this point, this is the cool part. A lot of people who embrace FIRE embrace the FI, financial independence, but not necessarily the RE, retire early. Because either they love what they do for a job or they have the need for contribution, and it's all good. But the point is, Bob has options. Bob could retire early. He might retire a spouse. He might switch to part-time work. He might switch careers and try something new. He might take a 1 or 2 year sabbatical from work. He has options. At this point, with $1 million invested, Bob would have plus or minus, in this example, about $80,000 a year to play around with, enhance his lifestyle, choose what he wants to do. So I know that's a very overly simplistic example, but I hope the point is made. The FIRE movement is simply about having options. That's what I love about it. It's completely in your hands to modify your own lifestyle in the way that you see fit. So that's my quick breakdown and analysis of the FIRE movement, my take on it, something to think about here for the week. You're listening to the Passive Income Lifestyle series right here at Ashcroft Capital. Reach out with any questions. You want to take a deeper dive, Travis at ashcroftcapital.com. And to learn more about passive income investing in the commercial multifamily space as we do here at Ashcroft Capital, visit ashcroftcapital.com for current offerings and opportunities. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps videos like this reach more people like you. Thank you so much for tuning in and taking the time out of your busy schedule today. Until the next episode, stay safe. We'll talk to you very soon.